home equity loan is one way to get money that you can reinvest in your home, potentially raising its value. But how do home equity loans work, and is it safe to borrow against your home equity? I reached out to my fellow nerd Taylor Getler, who writes about home equity all the time, to get answers to these questions and more. What is a home equity loan?
A home equity loan is a second mortgage that allows homeowners to borrow against the share of their home that they actually own, which is called their equity. So you build equity by making mortgage payments and through appreciation in the market. For example, if your home is worth $200,000 and you have $100,000 left on your mortgage, your equity would be 50%. Through a home equity loan, you can convert some of that back into debt in exchange for a lump sum of cash. And you'll repay this back to the lender at a fixed rate over time.
So when does it make sense to use a home equity loan?
So whether or not it makes sense for a borrower does depend on a few factors. So firstly, they'll want to consider the reasons for tapping their equity. You're securing the debt with your home and you could face foreclosure if you can't pay it back. And because of this risk, you really want to prioritize expenditures that will grow your wealth. So for example, a good reason would be to put on a new roof or to install central air conditioning, things like that that will add to the value of your home. But some examples not to tap your equity would be a vacation, a wedding, a boat, things that don't build your wealth and probably are not worth mortgaging your home for. A home equity loan can also be a good option if you want to keep your current mortgage rate. Because it's a second lien, it doesn't affect your primary mortgage rate. And finally, if you know how much money you actually need. So because you receive it all at once as a lump sum, you have to have solid estimates and know how much you're going to be spending. If you're doing multiple projects and you don't know exactly how much you need, something a little bit more flexible like a line of credit might be a better bet.
How do you go about getting a home equity loan?
Well, it depends. If the lender that financed your first mortgage offers home equity loans, you can definitely start with them. But it really is in your best interest to shop around and try to get the best rate possible. For example, you could start with NerdWallet's roundup of the best home equity loan lenders.
And what are the requirements for a home equity loan?
It varies a little bit by lender, so it sort of depends on who you go with. But typically, in order to qualify, you'll usually need to have at least 20% equity in your home. So for example, if your home is valued at $200,000, your mortgage can't be more than $160,000, the remaining balance on it. But again, every lender will have their own financial requirements. Typically, you'll need to have a credit score of at least 620, and your total amount of existing debts usually can't be more than 43% of your total gross monthly income.
And I would imagine that like with most financial products, the higher the credit score you have, the better chance you have of getting a lower interest rate.
Exactly. You'll have a better chance of qualifying with more lenders, and you'll have a better range of rates to choose from.
Is there anything to be particularly cautious about or to watch out for if you're looking for a home equity loan?
So a home equity loan is secured by your home, which means that if you can't pay, if you can't keep up with your monthly payments, you could lose your home to foreclosure. So that's a pretty serious risk to, definitely take into consideration and make sure that the thing that you're financing is worth taking on that level of risk. But on the flip side, you typically, because of that secured asset, typically you can borrow more and at a lower rate than you would with a personal loan or other type of unsecured loan that isn't tied to an asset that you own. So, there's pros and cons just like with any loan product, but these are all things to keep in mind if you're considering a home equity loan.
Overall, how could a home equity loan help you achieve your money goals?
Yeah, if you want to reinvest in your home, if there's some kind of major repair, renovation, something that you want to do that's really going to improve your quality of life and again, add to your wealth and your home's value, then a home equity loan can be a great way to finance that.
Well, that all adds up. Thanks so much for talking with me today, Taylor.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
I'm Kate Wood, and I write about mortgages and home buying for NerdWallet. If you're curious how much you might be able to borrow with a home equity loan, head to our site and check out our home equity loan calculator. And while you're here, like and subscribe for more.